Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Priscilla Vijalta, and welcome to your Monday night edition of FSU Weather. Right now, we've got a beautiful look over Doak Campbell Stadium. There was some controlled burning, so it's bringing out those beautiful colors from our sunset. It's currently 66 degrees and sunny with some slight winds, but nothing too serious. Looking over the Big Bend region, not a lot of precipitation going on, actually nothing at all. It was a really great day today. Good conditions to go outside, do some studying outside if that's what you had to do today. Tonight it's going to be 45 degrees, partly cloudy, with winds from the south-southwest at 5 miles per hour, so it will be chilly tonight. However, tomorrow it's going to warm up to 76 degrees and with some stronger winds, so make sure you dress for the heat tomorrow, because especially with some sun, it's really going to, make things a little hotter. As for the show tonight, we've got severe storms expected for the south, tips for Severe Weather Awareness Week, and the 15th anniversary of Super Tuesday. All that and more on FSU Weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to this lovely Monday version of FSU Weather. We have a gabagoolicious week for you folks. We actually are celebrating Severe Weather Awareness Week. So we're going to be bringing you severe weather themes every single day this week, where we're going to be covering it and giving you tips and tricks on how to handle these severe weather situations. And if you folks have been outside lately, you are realizing these really unseasonable temperatures for us here. We are going to be experiencing some warmer temperatures, but it's going to be cooling down into the week once we have that cold from bringing in some showers into our area. But you know what, Aaron? I'm wondering, what's it looking like locally?
It's looking really nice locally here. It's 66 degrees under sunny conditions there. We have a few clouds that are out in the horizon with those really nice colors there with that prescribed burn, as Priscilla mentioned earlier. But that sun right there behind the clouds looking really beautiful. So perhaps if you're going out for a bike to go grab some gabagool later on today, looking really pleasant out there. So current temperatures right now are in the 60s across much of the Big Bend here. 67 in Crawfordville, 67 also in Bainbridge, and 64 in Thomasville. Those temperatures will begin to subside as we come into the rest of the night, into tonight, where we still could see actually a little bit of cooler weather here. So right now, without those wind speeds are for the most part calm out of the area. Might see a little bit of an onshore wind with actually maybe even a little bit of a sea breeze, perhaps down towards Appalachia and over towards Panama City there, where we could see perhaps a little bit of breezy conditions tonight. Our temperature almanac for today, we had those temperatures for the most part got up to about 75 degrees, so a little bit warmer than average there of our 66 degrees there, but we actually start off also a little bit warmer than average too with our low of 46. Tonight we should get down kind of similar to what we've had this morning, so tomorrow looks like it should be a bit of a rinse and repeat day, and perhaps even a touch warmer as we get into later on in the day tomorrow. But you see our hour by hour, we saw that those temperatures climb up into the middle 70s as we got towards the middle afternoon here, so 3 p.m. over towards about 5 p.m. we had those temperatures for the most part ranging around 73 or 74 degrees. We are dry on our satellite and radar here. We have nothing going on radar. Perhaps maybe a little bit of a spell of rain there over towards Waycross, perhaps moving off towards the southeast there. But at least locally, we're staying high and dry. Our future radar should also feature those drier conditions as we head throughout the day on Tuesday and into tomorrow night too. So if you want to grab another bite of gabagool tomorrow, you could. You have the perfect evening to do so as well tomorrow night. Tonight's temperatures, we should bottom out into the middle 40s here across the metro area and into southwest Georgia. Coastline's going to be a little bit cooler there with 50s from St. Mark's all the way down to Apalachicola there at 55 degrees. If you are going to the beach tomorrow, we should see pleasant conditions continuing across much of the Nature, Appalachia Bay, and Emerald Coast there from the mid-60s over towards the 70s across the area. And tomorrow's local forecast looking really nice with those temperatures rebounding into the 70s. But Elizabeth, how are you looking at those temperatures? They're really warm, but honestly look really nice.
Yeah, I do agree, although the warm sort of makes me a little bit sweaty and tired, but I know that some people really like it, obviously. We are in Florida, and we're seeing these conditions across the rest of the state. Looking over at Panama City Beach right now, we're seeing that beautiful sunset and those oranges and blues across pretty much the rest of the state overall. But we're seeing some clouds down south in Miami right now. Across the rest of the state, we are actually sitting pretty cooler, obviously, to our north, but as we go more south, we're sitting in the mid-70s. In Key West right now, it's 79 degrees for February. That is very warm, but you are in the Keys. 76 in West Palm Beach, 71 in Florida, and mid to upper 60s up north, actually hitting 58 in Jacksonville. Our current dew points right now, we see this sharp dew point gradient line right here because that is our remnants of the cold front that came through later last week. So we have our drier conditions up north. Right now in Tallahassee, our dew point is 45 degrees. Although we see those wetter and the green side of the bottom half of the state, 60 in West Palm Beach, 64 in Miami, and the dew point is 70 in Key West. That's only 9 degrees cooler than their actual temperature right now. So very wet conditions across the central and southern part of the state. Just like here in Tallahassee, the rest of the state is not seeing much going on as far as rain goes. Right now, we're just seeing a few pop-up showers in the Gulf right now on the Gulf Coast, down south towards Fort Myers and Venice, and a few showers down in the tip of Florida, down by the Keys and in Miami. So, taking a closer look at a few of our cities, in Miami, we're going to hit 81 on Thursday, those beautiful conditions to go to the beach later this week, and not a high chance of rain either, maybe a few clouds here and there. In my home city of Tampa, 83 degrees. That is crazy. Personally, not for me, but for others, it might be very welcoming. Beautiful conditions up until Thursday as well over there. In Orlando, if you're heading to any of the theme parks this week, it's going to be very warm on Thursday, 84 degrees, and we're slowly going to make that climb as we're seeing across the rest of the state those similar conditions. Again, no rain is predicted for the rest of the week. In Jacksonville right now, we're sitting a little bit cooler, 75 tomorrow, 77 on Wednesday, and 82 on Thursday. A few more clouds than what they're seeing down south, but still pretty pleasant conditions across the area. In Pensacola, though, storms are possible over the next few days, and here is our rainfall forecast. We're going to see that rain move into Thursday. Tonight, pretty cool, but also mild across the southern part of the state, and for tomorrow, seeing those 80s again. What is the story for the rest of the Southeast, Nico?
Much like Florida, the rest of the Southeast is also experiencing this unusual warm temperature for this late into the winter. As you can see here, 71 in Shreveport, and already here in northern Florida, 69 in Tallahassee, a little bit cooler near Jacksonville, and very warm down in South Florida, 74 in Tampa and 75 in Miami. Here you can see the current wind speeds at the moment for most of the Southeast. There is going to be an approaching cold front later on this week coming from the west, and so there is some stronger winds near Little Rock and Shreveport at 13 miles per hour, but it's mostly calm for the rest of the Southeast. Only in the eastern coast of Florida will the winds pick up a little more. As for our current radar, as you can see right now, it's actually very, very calm for most of the Southeast, almost no rain, perhaps a few spotted showers down near the Everglades in Miami, but for the most part, it's pretty clear. And this is due to this dry air that can be found in the upper parts of the atmosphere, this large swath of dry air that is preventing much of this convection or any sort of precipitation from taking hold here in the Southeast. Now, there will be an approaching cold front later on this week, so this moisture is going to be able to produce some convection and some storms for much of the Texas region near Houston and Dallas, and then there is always some sort of moisture in the coastal regions in South Florida near Miami. As for our SPC storm outlook, for the most part, day one, there is nothing actually going on, but for day two, there is a marginal risk in Houston, southern eastern Texas region, and there's a non-severe risk for the greater area of Dallas and into Arkansas and Louisiana. As for the next 48 hours, here you can see the cold front start to take hold in Little Rock and push its way east and bring some thunderstorms and strong rain to Tennessee and into Alabama and parts of northern Mississippi. As for tonight's forecast, temperatures are actually going to be pretty chilly, 45 degrees in Tallahassee, a little bit warmer over to the western part of the southeast, and temperatures in the mid to upper 50s in the eastern part of southeast. And as for Charleston, South Carolina, it's actually going to be very warm on Thursday, a high temperature of 72 and a low of 61. That's almost summertime weather for Charleston, South Carolina. And as for Blacksburg, Virginia, again, warm temperatures there too, with a high of 67 on Wednesday and a low of 48. There will be some rain on Thursday as that cold front approaches, so there will be a 50% chance of rain. As for tomorrow's forecast, you can see these warm temperatures will persist, 81 in Tampa, 78 in Orlando, and all the way up to even Little Rock. As far north as Little Rock, it's going to be 64 degrees, with Tupelo being 66. And so if you guys are, please be prepared for these warm temperatures because it is abnormally warm again for this time of winter. So how is it going to be like for the rest of the country?
Yeah, the rest of the country, it's looking pretty actually warm throughout the southern regions, reaching 75 in San Antonio. So pretty warm throughout the southeast, stretching across Texas. But of course, the rest of the country is, actually experiencing winter. What can you say? So some things we've got going on are dew points. It's a lot more humid in this area over in Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, a little bit of Oklahoma as well. The rest of the nation is sitting very dry. We see these dark browns here in the west and around the mountains. But this humidity that we've got, is due to a approaching cold front that's going to sweep through this part of the country and bring some storms later this week. So again, we see that cold front, that low pushing away. However, it will stall out, so don't worry too much. It's not going to have any serious afflictions for the state. Looking at our drought monitor, Tallahassee, we are actually out of our drought now. However, the rest of the country is looking pretty dry, especially as you stretch out west. However, California is always pretty dry. However, it's warming up. Not warming up. Their drought conditions are improving as we go into winter. Storm outlook, not a lot of storms going on for today. Today too, tomorrow, then that's when we see those severe storms start to increase. As for alerts, nothing too serious. We see some winter storm advisories, and then we've got some flooding warnings over here. However, this is a big difference compared to last week. As we saw last week, there was a lot of severe weather, very tough with that storm that we had here in Tallahassee on Wednesday. But this week is looking a lot calmer, so you can enjoy your week this week. Don't have to plan for too much severe weather, so that's a very good thing that we like to see. Satellite and radar across the nation, we're seeing mostly lots of cloud coverage, not any serious precipitation. We are seeing some snow in the mountains, but then precipitation down in the valleys. So, everything's looking pretty clear as well. We're looking pretty good. Again, like I said, we've got that snow in the mountains and then some precipitation down next to it. Over here in the Pacific Southeast, looking really dry, good conditions, very comfortable. Our rainfall forecast, as we go into the week, hitting Thursday, that's when we're going to see a lot of that precipitation. And this front that I mentioned, it's going to start over here in Texas and then slowly push its way up north and bring lots of snowfall to the northeast. It'll be a little serious, but again, like I said, it's going to stall out. So nothing too crazy, but again, keep your eyes out if you live in those areas heading further into the week. For tonight's temperatures, we're sitting pretty chilly across the nation, hitting 23 in Denver. So we got some freezing temperatures up north over here. Going to be very cold. If you live up north, definitely make sure to, bundle up, get inside, watch the roads. It could be very chilly out there. As for the southeast, we're looking a little warmer with 50 in Memphis, 40 in Atlanta, 58 in New Orleans, 62 in San Antonio. That's where we saw those warm temperatures. It's going to be a nicer night as for tomorrow. Again, we see that heat again throughout the southeast. San Antonio 73, that's the big spot. And then New Orleans 78, and a lot cooler in the west over there. So, you know, make sure to keep that in mind as you head into the week. And now, you know, I heard it's Severe Weather Awareness Week. Spencer and Aaron, what topic are we covering today?
That is right. Thank you, Priscilla. So like you mentioned, this is the start of National Severe Weather Awareness Week. So what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of different types of severe weather that one might experience. And that could range from tornadoes to, why don't you tell us some more about some types of severe weather, Aaron?
Right, well, that's tornadoes, as Spencer just mentioned, but we also have things like hail and lightning. Well, lightning's not severe weather, but hail, winds I should mention too, because winds, of course, above 60 miles per hour is considered to be the more standard of what is considered severe weather, of course. And we get that a little bit here, especially as we get into the springtime here in the next several months or so.
Yeah, that's right. So really briefly, we do want to mention some tips that you can have. So here on your screen are some general severe weather preparedness tips. Now, these might include having an emergency kit. So for instance, you might want to keep some important documents like birth certificates, passports, social security cards. A good place to keep this might be in your fridge or your freezer, maybe next to your gabagool.
That's right. I'm going to say you should also add gabagool to your list too for your food supply kit, because that is really important. Make sure you stay nourished, of course, as you potentially go through a severe disaster event. But lightning too. So do's and don'ts of lightning. You want to make sure you get inside when you hear the lightning or when you hear the thunder. And of course, you know, everybody knows the saying, "When thunder roars, go indoors." That is certainly not farther than the truth here.
Yes, that's right, Aaron. And as you can see on your screen, we do have a few pointers for you, some do's and don'ts. You can almost think of them as dew points, almost. So some things you might, especially in Florida, you really want to be aware of is never be outside in a lightning storm and never be near a window or under a tree. And if you are outside in a lightning storm and you cannot get indoors, your car, safely in your car, not touching any metal, is a good strategy as well.
Right. Also, don't stick your lightning or your golf club in the air. That is not a safe idea. It is basically a lightning rod there. But of course, with Weather Severe Week here, we also are talking about the wireless emergency alerts, which might come out on Wednesday, I believe. Is that right, Spencer?
Yes. So if you live in the states of either Florida or Alabama and you happen to have a NOAA weather radio, please be on the lookout on Wednesday, February 8th, and we will be, the National Weather Service will be doing a test, a tornado emergency test, I believe.
Right. This is just a test, folks, just to verify, only on NOAA radio. But with that in mind, we will pass things over to Ollie to talk more about our spotlight state here this evening. What do we have in store, Ollie?
Thank you so much, you guys, for that gabagool-tacular segment. We're going to be doing a state spotlight on our America the Weatherful segment, where we're going to be looking at the 15th anniversary of Super Tuesday, which was a tornado outbreak that impacted the southeast. It produced multiple tornadoes. I believe 86 tornadoes were produced in multiple states. 27 of them were significant. That means they were an EF2 or higher, and 5 of those were EF4. Extremely intense tornadoes for these areas. Some of those tornadoes were even seen in the Memphis to Jackson area, so really close to us here in Tallahassee. One tornado was so large that it tracked 122 miles, folks, and lasted about 2 hours. So really terrifying stuff. We actually have a picture of one of those tornadoes here. Look at that. Really dark conditions, really dangerous, especially if I hope that person got safe out of there, because I could not imagine being in my car in a situation like that. Here's another map showing, again, just the extent of this tornado outbreak. It spanned multiple states, going up even into Kentucky, folks. So this was a very strong cold front producing a lot of these very dangerous conditions for these folks just 15 years ago. So here is actually a couplet, or a supercell actually, that produced one of these very strong tornadoes. So you can actually see here, this is a velocity couplet, which shows the rotation of that tornado. That green popping up right there is very significant and definitely points to a tornado in the area. That rain you see right there is actually most likely a debris signature. Just coming up on that radar means that it was really powerful, and just showing up on that radar, a lot of debris in that area. Very dangerous for those folks. And we're actually going to be going into tornado safety. So folks, if you are in a home or a small business, make sure you go into an interior room, into your basement. You cover your head. You got to protect your head and stay away from windows because they will get blown in from that strong wind, from that tornado. If you're in a mobile home, I'm sorry to say it, folks. I know a lot of folks in rural areas prefer mobile homes, but it's extremely dangerous. There's no safe place in a mobile home, so make sure you get to a local shelter or sturdy building. And if you're in your vehicle, you have two choices. You either stay in there and buckle up and wish for the best, or you have to get out and find a safe place, folks. It is just really dangerous conditions when you get these sort of outbreaks in the area. But looking at the radar for them, it's actually quite clear. They are expecting some severe weather further in the week, but for right now, they are actually experiencing some really breezy conditions. We're going to close in there really clear for that area, but SPC does not have them out of the woods yet. We're going to see that, like Aaron would say, our fellow student meteorologist, that gabagool coming up on the radar, going to come through that area and just unleash a lot of severe showers for them in the area. So that SPC storm outlook for day 3, that's Wednesday, they do have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. So folks, make sure you're staying safe. But for now, it's going to be breezy. It's going to be 51, so make sure you get that jacket. But into the week, it is going to continue to cool down because after that cold front, you are going to be experiencing those much cooler temperatures. So it's going to be even so cool that you might just be able to leave your gabagool outside. It won't be, that cured meat won't go bad. But you know what, Nico? I'm wondering, what's it looking like lifestyle for us here in Tallahassee?
Looking pretty nice, actually. As I was saying earlier, these really warm temperatures, 66 degrees right now over here with a live look at the res. And actually, you can see right here, it appears in the distance, this is where that controlled burn was happening, which gave rise to those hazy conditions that we saw throughout the day due to the smoke that was in the air here in Tallahassee. And it's producing these really nice orangey colors, these gabagool type colors. As for the current temperatures of the region right now, very warm, 69 right here in Tallahassee, 68 in Monticello, and a little bit cooler more north, but 67 in Bainbridge. Overall, a pretty warm night. As for wind speed, right now, for most of the southeast, it's actually really calm, only a 3-mile-per-hour wind speed in Tallahassee. As you go a little bit farther west towards New Orleans, it's going to be a little bit higher at 10 miles per hour. The winds should increase later on in the week as this cold front approaches. As for our look at the airports, Tallahassee should not be expecting any delay. It's going to be partly cloudy, temperatures of 66 degrees. It's going to be a very nice night for flying. And for the rest of the country, it's also looking pretty nice. There's a low chance of any sort of delays or backups, with most of the country experiencing some very nice weather. It's pretty cold over in Denver, being 37 degrees, and New York also 44 degrees. As for our stargazing forecast, yesterday or earlier in the week, there was a really beautiful full moon. Right now we are into a waning gibbous, and the viewing conditions should be very good, aside from the probably haziness due to the fire that is happening near Lake Bradford. As for our late night forecast, temperatures will cool down into the upper 40s later on into the night, but nothing too cold, only 49 degrees at 1 a.m. So if you have plans laid out at night, maybe 1 or 2 sweaters should do the trick. As for our Stroger forecast, Stroger can be pretty chilly, so 45 degrees, pretty clear. So if you are going to go study at Stroger, it's going to be very chilly, so perhaps another sweater or 2. As for tomorrow's poolcast, 9 a.m. tomorrow might be a little bit too cool, but by 3 p.m., it's actually not a bad day to go to the pool. 74 degrees, maybe it might be a little bit chilly, but it will be actually a fair weather to go swimming. And for the marine forecast, it's going to be very nice temperatures at 70 degrees, but winds at 15 to 20 miles per hour. They create a high rip current risk, so it might be not the smartest idea to go swimming, or please be safe because the seas might be a little bit choppy. And for tomorrow's forecast, 76 degrees, slight winds from the south at 8 miles per hour. It's going to be a pretty nice night. And here the Euro rainfall is going to show you the rain that is being brought to you by this cold front. And Tallahassee just has a little bit of rain coming up. And for the weekday planner, here you'll see warm temperatures all throughout the week in the upper 70s and lows in the 60s. So Spencer, will there be gabagool?
Thank you, Nico. So it seems like the theme tonight is that there will be plenty of gabagool to go around. So here you can see a gorgeous sunset. These beautiful red and orange colors are due to some of the smoke that we have from these prescribed fires that have been mentioned a few times tonight. So current temperatures right now is a gorgeous day in the upper 60s, looking at 69 here in Tallahassee, 68 in Monticello, 64 degrees as well out in Thomasville. So current radar right now, no precipitation in the entire Big Bend region as well as southern Georgia. So what you are seeing here on the map, these little green splotches, that's what we call ground clutter, and this actually might be some smoke that the radar beam is running into. So that's really what this could be, just maybe some birds or smoke or something along those lines. So our future radar, so you can see for tomorrow, not really too much clouds or precipitation to mention, although as we do get into Tuesday and Wednesday, as our chance for severe weather tends to increase, the cloud cover will increase as well. So tonight in Tallahassee, it's going to be a little bit chilly, not too cold. We have had some really cold temperatures lately, but tonight we can expect temperatures around 45 degrees with a wind out of the south-southwest about 5 miles an hour. And again, for tonight, we have temperatures in the upper 50s as you get closer to, the low to mid 50s, closer down to the coast, more in the 40s, more inland. So 44 out in Thomasville, 45 degrees as well in Bainbridge, and 55 in Carabel and Apalachicola. And if you have a dog that you plan on walking possibly tomorrow morning, it'll be around 7 a.m., 46 degrees, a little chilly. You're definitely going to want to have a jacket around that time. And if you are a little more cold tolerant, around 9 or 11 a.m. in the 50s and 60s, you might be able to rough it. For me personally, nope, I need a jacket at those temperatures. And if you like to ride a bike in the morning as well, it will be a little chilly. You definitely are going to want to be wearing a windbreaker or something to keep you warm in those, as you're, I'm sure, riding real fast, getting a good workout in. That wind chill is going to keep your body really cool, so you're definitely going to want to have a jacket. So our hour by hour for tomorrow, you can see tomorrow morning, temperatures starting off in the low 40s. They will build to the 60s and to the 70s later in the day and into the evening. And a quick look at our week ahead, you can see we have temperatures mainly highs in the 70s, peaking almost close to 80, with lows down in the 50s and even down into the 30s over the weekend. We're going to pass things off to Elizabeth at the table.
Thank you so much, Spencer. Man, all this gabagool talk is making me a little hungry. Anyways, I would say this the show today was very informative as far as severe weather safety goes. As we know, in Florida, it is Severe Weather Awareness Week and Preparedness Week, so it's important to know these things, especially for lightning, as Florida is the lightning capital of the U.S., and the tornado safety, because a lot of people might not realize how many tornado threats Florida actually gets. Tomorrow is going to be Marine Hazard and Rip Current Safety Day, so make sure that you do know that if you live along the coast. It has been unseasonably warm in the Tallahassee area over the past few weeks. Our average high today was supposed to be 66, but our forecast high was 74. It is actually, I read it is 66 right now and the sun is down. So pretty warm conditions, although heading into this weekend on Friday, we're going to see a cold front move through, and we will start to see those seasonable temperatures come back into the area. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at FSU Weather, and like us on Facebook at FSU Weather as well. And if you are watching us live right now, we are on YouTube at FSU Weather, and follow us on Instagram and send us your dog pictures, your weather pictures. We also have a new TikTok page at FSU Weather on TikTok. And now we're going to take one last look at the 7-day forecast. If you plan on heading out with your girls this weekend for Galentine's, the conditions will be not as warm, but if you go out on Friday, make sure to probably bring your umbrella. This is student meteorologist Elizabeth Temple. Thank you for watching.